Yo, it's the Good Life Podcast, the kickback. It's your boy, Goodlife Russ. I just want to come out and say thank you, man. I got to say it every episode. Thank y'all for listening. Thank you for your viewership. Thank you for being a part of the conversation. That's what gives these conversations legs and helps them move forward. This is a podcast about mental health. We talk about wealth. We talk about wellness. We talk about healing. We talk about unity and togetherness. But more importantly, we talk about self. So, I say this every time, but it's one of my favorite shows when it's a first timer. I got a new guest in the building. I'm really excited. Been looking over your social media, funny as hell, seeing the things you post and what you say. But I think what stood out to me the most is your mind, how your mind works, the things you question, you know what I mean, how you challenge society with your posts, So I'm excited for this conversation, man. Go ahead and tell everybody who you are.
What's up? What's up, world? It's your host with the most, Jay Gamble. You can find me on Facebook, Open Table. You can catch me on IG, Talk to Him 82. That's TALK, the number 2EM82. I am the host of a podcast, The Conversation with Jay Gamble, which is soon to be back out off the ground. I'm an independent business owner. I do marketing and promotions. You know, your vision is our priority. I'm just here to help people grow, you know what I mean, and keep it together.
I love that, man. I love that. Okay, so I'm definitely gonna have to come get on your pod. I didn't know you had a podcast. So what's your show about?
Uh, really just challenging the social media narrative. You know what I mean? I
Okay.
realized, you know, I grew up in, I'm born in the 80s. I grew up in the 90s. You know, we had house phones or you talk direct, and it gave a different kind of rapport with people. You know what I mean? And I think we lost that with social media. You know, as soon as they put a headline out there, here comes a fight. From each
Yeah.
side. And so I just feel like if we just simmer that down and just we're able to have a conversation with each other and to at least hear each other's perspective to know where and why we coming from, where we coming from, I think we'll have a better chance at, dealing with each other.
I agree, man. It's so much confusion on social media. You know what I mean?
Man,
And we play a part of it by not educating ourselves. It's like, people are so quick to get a conclusion and opinion about things like some things we really need to discuss. Like we need to bring multiple people to the table and talk about it.
absolutely. Because, you know, social media, I guess it started off to keep people connected, but then it started to become more of a business, more of a hustle. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And then it became, the more likes you got, the more popular you got. And,
Yeah.
you know, I can remember when YouTube dropped, even when Soldier Boy admitted that he was doing it, they would throw a misleading title on a link to make you want to click it just to get that click. The more clicks, the more money. And it's like that's what everybody is doing now. Everybody is just they trying to go viral with the most unpopular statement. You know what I mean? But the energy that they putting out there is just it's bad right now, man. I'm gonna be honest, it's bad.
Yeah. And I think that's how a lot of people are losing followers and presence. You become the boy that cried wolf. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
you only got once or twice for me to click that link. It better be something good. All right. I ain't gonna
Right.
be here no. I'm scrolling on if I ain't unfriended you.
Yeah, man. And people have got so comfortable living behind posts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh, and it just I don't know. It just makes things so disingenuous.
Yeah.
Nowadays. So with my podcast, what I try to do, I just try to challenge the narrative and just try to appeal to people to say, if you just think on a regular mindset, you know, and not think social media, then maybe we could understand things better. Because if we just follow whatever social media headlines say, we'll be lost.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna tell us whatever's gonna catch interest, whatever's gonna go viral. You know what I mean? They're not gonna tell us the details. You know what I mean? The kinks, the ins and the outs, the whys. All they want to do is sell you a story.
Yeah.
You know, and people buy that so much. I just refuse. I just refuse to be okay with it. And if I could use my voice you know what I mean, to extend that, then that's what I'm here for.
I love that, man. I love that. Yeah, I definitely want to check your show out. I would love to be a guest on there. I think those are the conversations we need to at least start with. There's several conversations we gotta have as a community, but there's
Right.
particular ones that lead to foundational things. I feel like we need to start having. So, what can you explain what open table is?
Okay, so open table is just what it sounds like. The table is open. Anybody can eat. My page is it's an open way where you can advertise your business, and me as a supporter, I would definitely push it forward as well. I created the page as a promoter, to draw attention to businesses of different um, aspects, different levels. Um, and so it's pretty much open. You come as you are. I host my podcast based off of my open table page, and it's also connected to my Laugh and Lounge page, which is a comedy show, a series that I try to do at least 2 or 3 times a year. Right now, I'm just trying to regroup and get back to that. And then it also is connected to uh, my podcast page. So coming to my page will also bring you, a further reach of people that just follow me organically just because, the way I connect with them. So it's
Mhm.
open.
I like that. I like that. It sounds like we have a similar structure. That's something I've
Yeah.
always wanted was a network. You know what I mean? Network of people I can use that they can use me, service for service, bartering. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
think that's what can help the black community is if we're bringing all those resources to each other. And then if no one in that network can do it, we outsource. But it's like the first type of business is within us. That's what I've learned that other communities do. Like that's what the Jewish community do. They work with their network. So even if someone can quote unquote do it better out of network, I'm shopping with you. You know what I mean? Because you're
Yeah.
in network. Me and you still doing business. But there's also now an opening where I can tell you ways to improve your business as well. I can give you critique, I can give you advice. So it's not just a give or take. You know what I mean? It's a full circle.
Yeah. Absolutely. I agree with that. And the the funny backstory behind how I came up with the name Open Table
Hmm.
was because Columbus, Ohio. Shout out to the city. You know, we got a lot of talent, but we don't have a lot of market.
Yeah.
And me growing up here and knowing that, and my dream is to try to further, the people in my where I'm from.
Hmm.
You know, I just know that they'll follow you more if you're anonymous more than you are as they know you.
Yes.
So if I would have came out with a page Jay Gamble and said, "Hey, I'm doing business, I'm doing this," a lot of people more than not would have just been like, "Oh, that's Jay, that's no, that's bro." It's not really taken serious. But when I come with open table, it's like, "Oh, who is this guy?" It's interesting. It's more intriguing, and down here it just seems to work better. You know, um, of course, I interact with people personally and directly, and once they see the face, they know who it is. But that's not who I'm operating as. So whatever's attached to Jay Gamble has nothing to do with Open Table.
Mm.
You know what I
That's
mean? So
smart.
yeah,
Yeah, I do the same thing. That's smart. So where are you from?
I'm from Columbus, Ohio, East Side, Mount Vernon, all day. Yeah,
Nice. What schools you go to?
I went to Trevitt Elementary. I went to Everett Middle School. With me and my guys, we broke basketball records. Then
Nice.
I went on to Brookhaven. God rest Coach Howard.
Yeah.
Uh, I graduated from there, and then I went out to Kentucky State for a year under social work. Didn't really like the environment, so I went out to another HBCU in South Carolina for 2 more years, and then I came back home. I just graduated media school last October.
Congratulations. That's dope.
I appreciate that. Um, that's the majority of my school. I had some barber college in between there, you know. So I'm one of many. I've been venturing out and just trying to.
Jack of all trades. Yeah.
Yeah, I like I like finding businesses that cater to the people though. If it don't benefit the people, for me, it's no good.
Same, same.
So
And I think that's important as we're blurring the lines between hustling, entrepreneurship, and businesses. You know what I mean? Because to me, there are three different mindsets that you gotta be to operate them, and some people can operate all three. You know what I mean? And I think our generation, that's what we're moving towards. You know what I mean? Because I'm 34, so I was born in '88. So I always tell people I think we're that golden generation. Like we grew up actively without technology, and now we're like running technology, and we're pushing it forward. So I think a lot of now what we need is the economics, things we were never taught, things we didn't grow up seeing a lot in our neighborhoods. And I think that's the culture shock. I would agree Columbus has so much talent, but I would also agree about the market. And I think it's because that
yeah,
product is just not prevalent here. So the consumers aren't used to shopping certain things. They aren't used to paying certain things at the door. And you'll take that same person and they'll go to Vegas and pay $100 to get into the club. You know what I mean? So it's like, because they know that's happening out there. They're used to that. They can see. So here, when the artists start coming together and we get that collective, it's going to help. That's the economics. It's going to help everybody out because now they're going to be more comfortable with trusting our events and our ideas, and the artists can get compensated now.
yeah, I definitely agree. And one of my biggest hopes or dreams, I would say, is that us as a unit, as a people, actually to buying into each other, supporting off of each other's backs. Because I mean, if we and this is probably beating a dead horse, but if we buy into our own as much as we buy into those nationwide and worldwide brands, a lot of us would be in bigger in better positions.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but again, I mean, that comes with time. That comes with trust.
Right.
Trust is a big thing. How do I know when you get to the big bag, you're not going to cut me off or whatever? But, we need to start building those unions, you know, just as how we met, things like that to secure the bag, if that's what they want to, paraphrase it as.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Cause man, it's so much out here. It's so much out here. And my goal is I try to promote and advertise any and every talent, business, service, aspiration, or whatever, in hopes that one day maybe, I can call this guy up to help this guy. Or you need this service? Okay, I got a guy for you. Hey, remember I did this for you? I need you to come over here and do this for them. And then it's, oh, I like their service. Now they're working, and it's like a non-stop wheel.
Mm-hmm.
That's my goal. That's my dream for everybody. You know, um, but we gotta buy into really supporting each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one thing I do see, when it comes to independent businesses, is the minute something goes wrong, the consumer takes no time to put them on blast.
Yeah.
I mean, three paragraphs. And I've never seen that when it comes to these corporate businesses.
Ever.
So, it's like, what's your expectation? Y'all expecting an independent business to operate on a corporate level with independent revenue
Research. Yeah.
and bear to no support. You know, uh, I don't know.
It's the ideology. It's flawed logic. You know what I mean? Because but it's mostly because they don't understand business. But it's flawed logic because a small business is not trying to run like Walmart. That's not Walmart was never the goal. Walmart is greedy in a sense. If you think in business
right,
wise, you know what I mean. That's not the goal for a small business. It's to supply their area. Walmart trying to get everybody to shop. So when you trying to compare small business to them, they're always going to fail. It's never going to be able to keep up with that type of demand, that type of customer service, that type of product. You know what I mean? So a lot of it's us. We got to dumb down what we want. You know what I mean? But I think it's going to get to the point where people overuse the stuff and then they start dumbing themselves down. Like, okay, I need less, or you know what, I need to start learning how to grow my own food. Just taking those minor steps. You know what I mean? But it's gonna make worlds of difference, especially in the market. And we run the market. How many times do we need to see it? You know what I mean? Like
man.
I'm salty now at the the heads at Adidas talking about, oh, like, we think we made a mistake with Kanye. Like, you think? Like, we control the buying power. You could have got
Right.
canceled behind canceling Boy. You know what I mean? Like, and they don't really get it until they see it. But everybody's eyes is open now. Like, we have the dollar, we have the influence. We just got to do something intentional with it. You know what I mean? We letting everybody have our greatness.
And I want to make 2 points to what you're saying. One from the old conversation about uh the difference between business and hustle, and then one about the Kanye thing, and you
Yeah,
saying that we control the market. One of my underlying issues with us as a people is, you know, okay, when it comes to people like Kanye,
yeah,
granted, he is very very random,
right.
but he's honest about what he feels nonetheless. But it's only when he does some unpopular shit, here we come with the avalanche. I kind
Mm-hmm.
of feel like we helped Adidas and those markets that he was dealing with. We helped them roll him out the door.
Yes.
We helped. We called him crazy. We called him every name but an honest man and a trying man. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And then now, look at Adidas. Now they saying, damn, we messed up. Now Kanye is doing things that's bringing more light to life. He has the gospel sermon going on.
Mm-hmm.
People are enjoying the music. Now people are applauding him. But it's like, where was this energy when I was trying to tell y'all, like, look, I'm not crazy. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
standing for mine. Like, we definitely participate in our own downfall. A lot of times more than not, more than we realize. Because as soon as all it takes is a social media headline to come out there, and we biting it.
Yeah.
And by the tenth comment, you got this person arguing with this person. Now it's disrespect. Now we lose sight of the point at hand or the mission at hand. And then, the next day it's, everybody wants to make funny memes about it, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and then as soon as they drop the hammer, then we want to cry about the connections that we don't have. Excuse me, my phone is acting
Right.
stupid. Uh, it's just crazy to me, you know,
Mm-hmm.
when we going I mean, stand on what you believe and hold that energy. You know what I mean? Now, when we was talking about the business,
Yeah.
can you hear me?
Yeah,
Okay.
I can hear you.
Uh, one thing I will say on the other side of lack of support and people expecting independent businesses to operate on corporate levels is, if you're serious about your business, take your time, and get good at it and find something that you can really offer people. That way, it's not perceived as a hustle. That's very important.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people have genuine intentions and they want to grow, but sometimes it's like as soon as they find a little something, then they want to jump.
And that goes both ways because a lot of these businesses are side hustles or brands, but people investing in it like a business, and that's why it's not taking off. Like some things only are gonna go so high and so far. That's why I like what you said. I get involved with businesses. One, things I'm interested in, but two as well, things that can help people and benefit people. You know what I mean? And making sure you're not selling poison. So, because that stuff affects the business too. Like you putting that negative energy into what you're doing. So, even if it's making you money, that doesn't mean it's successful. And that's what a lot of us are learning. Like that success is not based on how much revenue it brings in. Like how many lives are you changing with this product? You know what I mean? Like how many people can say their life was actually benefited from it, or are we just mudding up a bunch of people's lives? You know what I mean? With products they already have and don't even need. So now, as we start to advance, as we start to grow, can you hear me?
Hmm.
All right. And as we start to
Yeah, I
advance
can hear
and
you.
grow now, we're going off of need and necessity. A lot of shit that's in the world right now to be bought, to be traded, just has no substance. It's just a product. So once we go back to actually putting care into the food, putting care into the clothes we make, putting care into the music, and putting that love and soul into it will be good. But I truly think it's gonna get worse before it gets better, especially with the drop of like AI and stuff. They just trying to take the soul out of art. They're trying to make art like a job. You know what I mean? And the two are opposing to each other. Like art has no structure. It's freedom. It's supposed to be an expression. And then a job has a structure. You know what I mean? A job has a function. A business has a function. It's to make money. So we too have been blurring those lines. We want both. And a lot of artists, even the great artists, had no money during their lifetime. Their work didn't get great till 10 to 100 years after their death. You know what I mean? So they didn't realize that, so none of their family was able to keep any of the revenue. None of their family was able to keep benefiting and profiting off of it. So we're getting a lot smarter, man. I was showing my son the other day, like the story, the Lion King story. You know what I mean, with Jason when he's playing Simba, and like the deal that they try to give him, the first deal that they offer him for that role, that had no points, no royalties. I think it was just like $2 million, and at that time, that's a lot of money. You know what I mean? So him having the representation, which was his mom, to restructure the deal, they took less. They only took 20,000 up front and basically took a bunch of points and royalties that kept rolling and earning. Basically, the more money he made, he could make more money. You know what I mean? And I think they said like after 10 or 15 years, it had hit $100 million. So it's these things now that we're learning. It's not about the fast dollar. It's not even about being the richest. It's not even about being the best. It's about making sure like you're putting something in the universe you feel comfortable and content with, something you would want to brag about, something that you can be proud to talk about. And we make money in all these ways like we're ashamed of. But
Yeah,
I was saying like we make money in all these ways we're ashamed of that we got to regret it. And then we don't invest that money. You know what I mean? It's the same with handouts. Like it's hard to invest a handout. It's different when you're actually going to make the money to put back into your brand. Like I've always believed in bootstraps. I never was really gung ho to go get a loan. I'm like, let me try to make this money on my own. Let me go work a few hustles, a few jobs, put into myself. And then I realized that time when I was putting into myself, it made me want to go harder. You know what I mean? It's just that recognition. You like, man, I did it. You feel me? So a lot of us are just doing it for the first time, and it's gonna be scary, man. Like when business gets rough, you cannot abandon shit.
true.
You gotta stay in there.
Really.
So how does that
And
go for you and your brands when things get rough?
no doubt, absolutely, I agree. I mean, uh, one thing that not to gloat about, but I think it's really valuable about me and how I interact with. I actually live what I say,
Mm-hmm.
and by that I mean even with business and promotion.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I've been building 6 years. I've been invited to events. I've hosted. I've advertised. I don't know how many, but I do it for the interest of servicing others. You know, in hopes of one day making some good money.
Mm-hmm.
To this day, I can't say I've made over $100,
Mm-hmm.
and that's real talk. Now, outside of my comedy show, that helps.
Mm-hmm.
That pours into me being able to do what I do for others. But I understand it's a process.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not ready to jump off of prices uh, because I don't think I have the level of delivery that requires payment. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Now, people
Yeah.
pay it forward and they're generous, and I give 1,000% beginning to end. That's just me. But the truth of the matter is, it's important to me to make one is never undervalued, and
Mm-hmm.
two, I'm I'm getting a lifelong appreciation.
Mm.
That goes into what I was saying about the business versus the hustle. I could easily go out here and say, $20 to get on the next,
Right.
$20 to do a video. But then when they look and they say, well, what do you do? And I'm just saying, this is my ambition. It looks like a hustle. People are
Mm-hmm.
not gonna take you serious,
Right.
you know. But I'm gonna still give that effort the $1 million. You know, every show, anywhere I go, I tend to be a walking billboard. This brand here, niche clothing,
Uh-huh.
my brother's line, independent, family brand. It's amazing. Find your niche clothing. Have to check it out. I do that for
Yeah.
nothing. You know what I mean? Because it's bigger than making $1. If I
Right.
can help 10 businesses, I'm always good.
Right. That's a fact.
So
I think that's too. That
a
comes
lot of people,
from. Go ahead.
I'm saying a lot of people, they try to sell things that's not really genuine or authentic to them, and it comes off as phony, and it
Right.
stunts the growth. People know, like, oh yeah, you're just trying to make a couple dollars. Oh yeah, you put a sweatsuit on, threw a couple letters on there, got 100 likes, and then tomorrow you taking orders.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like don't cheat yourself by cheating the people. You know what I mean? Believe in it and just build. You know what I'm saying? Build in your trail and grow your vision. That's what I believe in, and that's what I stand by. And I take it from here all the way to North Carolina, Georgia, and back. With
Mm-hmm.
this, but uh, I think
Yeah, everything you saying is bond. I think that's where a lot of people get in trouble with their intentions with business because it comes off they're seeking validation or clout. You know what I mean? You got to really know what your business purpose is, who your market is, who you trying to target. Because then I think it keeps you on the straight and narrow down the line. You know what I mean? But we're in a day and age now, so many people have been rubbed wrong ways about business. They have this guard up, and I don't go out there and really, I don't try to convince people to shop with me. Like, I know I do good work. I know I put everything I got into what I do, and I know the people that it's for is going to get it. I don't even really try to sell people on my work. You know what I mean? I show them my work. I tell them what I do. I tell them I write books. But my goal in life is to try to serve you, like try to figure out how I can help you, try to figure out what I can put into this room. You feel me? I come in here, I'm trying to take one out, I'm leaving two or three every trip. You know what I mean? Because that also builds into your humility. And then that starts to show the intentions of what you do. Like my intentions behind my businesses, behind the net, even the network you speak on, because I feel the same. It's even to leave these connections back for my kids. So when they're of age, you know what I mean? I could be in Africa doing some shit. They of age, they can go to my homie and get their car and get it tuned up and get an oil change. And they know that, and I know there's somebody I trust that's gonna look after my kid. You know what I mean?
yeah,
We don't never have to exchange no money. We don't never gotta, we don't never have to do that. And we can still have that strong connection that's gonna be in my favor because it's helping out my family. You know what I mean? So I think a lot of times too, we're growing up and realizing we gotta put into more stuff like that. Not temporary happiness, not weekend fun, but put something into your life that's gonna keep snowballing through your life.
yeah, and make sure that it caters to your mission.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I love doing business with people. I love, like, if I see somebody with a stand, I want to go over there and ask a couple of questions. What you doing, what you trying to do, and then it's, how can I help you? Or,
Mm-hmm.
I try to rephrase it, because a lot of people are egotistic. How can I be an addition? How can I add something to what you got going on?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? 'Cause that's what I'm gonna do. I might go down to the barbershop and, tell everybody in the barbershop about you.
just that's just me. That's just how I do. You know. So the business that I do, it caters to my mission. You know, I do it genuinely. You know, and I enjoy it. And it's took me a far way. It took me a far way. I've been in some good spaces with some great people. You know, Latasha Reigns, Cassandra, my homegirl Rashida, Chantel, Spencer. Uh, I got the lady Sherry Nicole. Uh, she has the mental health service.
Okay.
You know, just put me in some great. And I've met a lot of those people through the funnels of networking and just doing good business. You know, you too can have it all. That's the name of her mental health service. Y'all check it out.
Okay.
But as you see, you know, that's just what I love to do. You know, I'm gonna be the anchor and the seed. You know what I mean, for everybody else to grow if that's what it takes. You know,
Mm-hmm.
because I not only get your information and tell people about it when I travel. I'm taking it out of state. You know, I'm putting it in hands of other comedians, other bodybuilders, whoever I can interchange with or interact with, and I can interchange that information. You know, I'm just a walking flyer.
Mm-hmm.
Until it grows to a point that I become a demand. I'm gonna just keep doing it how I'm doing.
Mm-hmm. That's smart, man.
Because
That's real smart.
it's really that's just how I move. It's just it came to me when I was in North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Shout out to Charlotte. And I was rocking with some comedians out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized they need they need somebody to help them focus on business and someone else focus on, you know, bringing the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just started doing it and they started showing me so much love. I can't wait to go back there. They showed me so much love. I just grew from there. Got my first, marketing and promotions business out there. And when I hit 30. And so I came back home with the same energy, but I knew I had to change some things a little bit because North Carolina market is different than Ohio's market.
Right.
So now I'm down here, and I mean it's been a worthy experience. I wouldn't change it for nothing.
Yeah.
You know,
That's good. So what's your mental health like? How do you release during these times and situations? How do you keep your composure? What are things you do when things get heavy?
Whew. The first thing I pray on it. I definitely connect with my higher power. Um, Sometimes I just take a little inhale, exhale,
Mm-hmm.
and just try to think realistically about the situation. One thing I've learned growing up is to learn how to accept accountability, personal accountability, and it makes things easier. When you can just find your faults in the matter and how you could have done things better.
Mm-hmm.
I just try to focus on that, things I can control. And then of course, I get I get the doctor's veggies
Yeah. Yeah.
every once in a while, but I don't run to that for a stress reliever. But it definitely keeps me calm.
Yeah.
Uh, and,
Self medicated a little bit.
yeah, and I try to always weigh the pros and the cons of the situation.
Yeah.
What's it mean? What's it worth? You
Yeah.
know, um, you know,
And
that's what
that's
I
the
do for the
beast,
most part.
man. That's the beast of mental health. This is what I we're getting this is what we're educating this new generation that's coming up on. Like there's gonna be very tough days. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of work that comes into what we're trying to do in the world. Like you don't just change the world from your bed. Like you gotta put in work. You know what I mean? And it's a journey. So I implore people to stop trying to, get through the journey quickly or stop trying to teleport to the end. You know what I mean? Like you're going through everything you're going through and there's a lesson in it. There's something you can be learning about yourself. There's something you could be learning about the world or your craft. So it's just taking that second, like I love that you said breathing. It's just taking that second to breathe and becoming present. You know what I mean? And being in this moment. And I mean, I we can do anything. Like, look at humans through time. Like, we can do anything, but it's gonna take work.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna take work, and sometimes it's hard to get it out. And as a man, it sucks a lot.
Yeah.
We are under this umbrella where we can't vent too much. We can't express ourselves. And shit, I have a lot of weak moments. And it's
Yep.
not that I, you know, have to talk to a woman, what I mean, to find my comfort. But if I wanted to, it's that chip on the shoulder that's like, what is how's she gonna take this? You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Because deep down inside, you know, I go through a lot of shit. But in life, learning to grow and just process things, I'm able to just brush it off, move on and think about it later. Just because I get past it, don't mean I'm not thinking about it. But I'm learning now to not be trapped in my thoughts and allow that to keep me idle. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
It's like a basketball game. If I miss a shot, I'm not going to dwell on that missed shot the entire game. I'm going to just say, okay, I'm going to keep in mind that shot ain't working for me. So as the game goes on, my game gets better. If I get hot, I hit that shot. I take it again with confidence. But um, it gets rough sometimes.
Hmm.
Um, but I try to be considerate and think of people first. So it's like for me, I know that my life is absolutely real, as other people's are. But to me, my life is very literal when I express things. So I tend to try not to be the overwhelming person to just call and saturate somebody's ear with all my hard times and my worries.
Hmm.
Though people say, that's not okay. I'm gonna be honest. I don't like getting those calls from the same person every time.
Right.
If every time you call me, you got to tell me some sad shit, some depressing shit, and you don't want to try to fix it or try to get through it, you just want to just go, then sometimes I'm not the one.
Yeah.
Sometimes yeah, I know I listen, but if I can't give some feedback to help you, if you ain't trying to come up out of this, and all you're gonna do is just hammer your times into me, and you want to give me tick for tack by how you want to take me back through it. No, you disturbing my peace.
Yeah.
You selfish.
Hmm.
Let's talk about it. Let's figure out how to get through it. You know what I mean? But I don't know. A lot of times
It's
I watch
hard being a.
comedies.
I what you explained. It's hard being a good person. Like, being a good person has plagued me my whole life. It's harder on you when you're a good listener. It's harder on you when you have feedback. It's harder when people know you don't really get razzled. So they try to dump more on you. You know what I mean? Like, and you become just this dumping ground. Like, I've been a giver my whole life. And I think in this point in our lives, in this year, the givers are being more selfish. Like, we're starting to keep for ourselves. You know what I mean? Because for me in my life, I was giving away everything, giving away game, giving away my attention, my time, my resources. You know what I mean? And it's like, when you don't have anything, you're gonna be on your own. You're gonna have to
Yeah,
figure it out. So what I'm learning through my moderation is keeping that same energy, not getting that abundance and being like, all right, I'm gonna lend this motherfucker money and we going out tonight and I'm about to, you know what I mean? Like, staying in that same, remembering what got you here. It's how a lot of
yeah,
us get caught up. We get real structural, we get real disciplined, and then we get comfortable. You gotta stay
yeah,
disciplined through everything you're doing, even when the sun's out. You gotta be disciplined, you know. So yeah,
yeah.
I
That's
like how
true.
you put that, man. I like how your mind works.
Yeah, because like you said, remembering what got you there, that's a big thing, and it helps me a lot now because one of my weaknesses is empathy.
Okay.
I'm always trying to understand from the other side.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm
True
always trying
understanding.
to think, what if it was me? Or damn, that was me. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? But now I'm starting to realize, that was me and it's not me no more. And what it took for me to get here was, being able to look past that shit and getting over the shit, not dwelling on it.
Hmm.
So I no longer feel guilty about not giving in so much as people will want me to. You know what I mean? It's like I used to be like, man, I'll call you back later or I'll talk to you later. I'm like, I'm not dealing with that shit. And then 20 minutes go by, I'm like, man, you know what? Man, let me go ahead, man. And then here I am full force, you know what I mean? And then when something comes up for me, it's like they're giving me that energy I feel like I should have gave.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I start feeling like, and so I've had a hard time with that too. But now, I'm at a point where just like, it is what it is. I'm gonna always keep you, with the best wishes and keep you in prayer and advocate for the best positivity around you. But I can no longer be your attachment
Mm-hmm.
because shit, I gotta maintain my mental stability too.
Exactly.
I'm dealing with 10 things an hour every day with no effort. That's just as soon as I open my eye, it's it's on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to learn to manage and maneuver through my own funnels and tunnels. You know what I'm saying? So respectfully, I think it's selfish that people take advantage of that kindness and think that, you know, all you're supposed to do is just listen to the downfalls, to the dramas. And most of this shit is fixable.
Exactly.
It's like, yo, come on, like, yo, if you just want to talk, let me talk my shit then. You know what I mean? I'm gonna listen to
Yeah.
you. Let me talk. But if you telling me you don't want to hear what I gotta say, and you just want to talk, then no, it's not gonna work.
Yeah. I feel in those situations people aren't talking to themselves enough. And then we get stuck in these mentalities. You know what I mean? Everything you saying on point. Like this was a conversation I was having with one of my young boys on the radio, and and it's a young guy's mentality, so I understood where he was coming from. I feel like it's along the same lines, but his issue was one of his homies keep getting locked up. You know what I mean? So he feels guilty that he can't bail him out every time. And I said, I understand that. I understand how you feel guilty because you can't bail your friend out. But ask yourself, like, how is he being a good friend by keep putting you in this same predicament and putting you in a potential position to fail? You know what I mean? Like, it has to be a two-way street. Like I think sometimes we get so comfortable with holding ourselves accountable, like we forget we gotta hold other motherfuckers accountable too.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Wow, you said a lot right there. Holding others accountable too.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of times, people just, again, they try to figure out what they can control.
Mm-hmm.
Because more times than not, they did something that put them in a situation that they could have not did to keep them out the situation.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I feel like if we can just have those opportunities to have those conversations with people, you know what I mean, without any suspicion of malice intentions or trying to belittle them, you know what I mean? I think it'll do the world a good better.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Because like I grew up on harsh reality.
Uh-huh.
Everybody that had something to do with me growing up, from my mom's, God rest her soul, to my extended family's family, to the guys in the neighborhood, the OGs and the big bros in the neighborhood, to the barbers, to the coaches, to the counselors, to the advisors, everybody that took to me, that helped me, get to where I'm at now. It was just about harsh reality. It wasn't no sugarcoat. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And in the beginning, it was hard to take. As a 12-year-old, 11-year-old, you still trying to learn your pride. You know, but as I grew to learn to understand, like listen to the words, not how it's said. You know,
Yeah.
listen to the song. Don't worry about the volume. You know what I'm saying? It helped me better because they should be able to. They really want to mold me and make me better. And when I understood that, it was like, it's not a conversation I can't have. Somebody can sit down right now and say, Jay, that interview was bullshit. They can do that.
Yeah.
10, 15 years ago, there was no way. it would end nicely. You know what I mean? But we gotta be able to have those conversations with people, and this goes to conversations on any level, and
Yeah,
on any
yeah,
topic. I hate when I see on social media. I hate to sidebar this, but I really hate on social media how it just seems like it's such a man versus woman war,
yeah.
bro. It's so crazy. Everything a man posts objective to a woman, and the men do it too. And then here come the women. They just love shitting on niggas.
You posted
Excuse
that
my
and I
language.
screenshotted it. No, please, that's encouraged. But you posted that and I screenshotted it. Somebody had made a post about the internet trying to divide us. I say the same
Yeah,
thing. Every time I see that post where it's like Usher, Tyrese Genuine, pick one, get rid of two. Like, what are we doing? I don't play games like that. Like,
yeah.
I'm gonna listen to all of them. Like, what are we talking about? Like, all of this is divisive behavior.
And they buying into it. I'm like, yo,
Yeah.
hold on. My position is this. How do we get to the point where women felt like they didn't need men and men felt like they didn't need women, or they would be like, bro, growing up, I never heard that narrative in my life.
Hmm.
I've always loved and honored women. I don't even know where they get this narrative of, you know, black men need to protect their black women more, or we ain't doing enough. I'm like, yo, how do we get here?
Yeah.
And then
Propaganda,
here, and
man.
then all you gotta do is get in the comments,
Yep.
and it's banging. It's both sides banging, banging, and then next thing you know, here comes somebody, the girl making a subliminal post about how he was in her inbox with some screenshots, and everybody, I'm like, yo, this is crazy.
My reach is obviously the government failed us educationally, but we got failed education wise, man. Like I don't watch the news at all, but I do research statistics, and it makes a lot of sense when they say like the country's on a seventh grade reading level. And it shows up on social media because a lot of things people are reading subjectively, they should reply to objectively. I can tell they just don't understand a lot like what someone's saying. So they're reacting to it personally. Like I can make a general post and someone's gonna come tell me their personal situation and how my post is not true because of what happened to them. And then I'll advise them like that's anecdotal. You can't apply everyone's life to you. What happened to you. Just because it happened to you don't mean that's what happened to me. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And we can grow up in the same neighborhood and experience it differently. Just because I saw it this way, I'm not saying you didn't see it that way. All I'm saying is I saw it this way. This isn't an
That's
argument.
that's
It's a
it.
statement. Why are we
A
why
lot
are
of
we
times,
arguing this?
yeah, a lot of times I have to shut it down and say, hey, look, this is just my opinion. I'm not
Yeah,
here to belittle you, but I'm damn sure not about to argue with you. If
right.
you can disagree, just say you disagree, but don't like I grew up in the debating world. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? From
Same.
from the, from the hood to the barbershop. You know, so I'm ready to go. I'm with the smoke, but I'd rather not go there because it's exhausting.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to go through 10, 15 comments just to prove my original practical 3 word, 4 word comment that you want to come and fight with.
Right.
I don't want to do that because it's always going to end peaceful because I carry peace, love, and respect for everybody until it gets
Real.
disrespectful. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Or unless it gets disrespectful.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's like everybody want to argue, and like the men versus women shit, man. It's just so overblown. It's
Yeah.
so overblown, man. It's to the point a gentleman almost has no shot in this world.
Oh yeah. But never
I
really
mean, as
has.
far as approach, the hey, how you doing? My name is Jay. I would like
A
to get to
normal
know you.
life. I get what you mean. They've
Yeah,
never
I would
really
like to get
had
to know
that.
you a little better. You get 3 messages and then it's ignored. And then here come the post about you without putting your name on it. And it's like, yo, I seen you you twerking in the stories, but I ain't even here for that. I'm trying to get to
Right.
know you. But you so caught in this matrix, you chose to dog me because my conversation wasn't spicy enough.
Yeah.
Now if I came out and was like, "What's up, man? I got this bread. I'm trying to do this, that, and that." Then it's like, "Ooh, you talking my language?" But you was just posting about wanting a man.
Exactly,
Fuck is we doing?
bro. And
I
everyone's getting exposed. You know what I mean? I don't. There's a fake war against men and women. You know what I mean? That because we aren't each other's opponents. Like the
yeah,
real war is within. Men and women don't. So they try to convince us men and women have roles, and now people don't know what roles to play. Like all the lines are blurred, and there's a self identity crisis. You know what I mean? And it's trickled in the business with how people use their business, seeking that validation. Like all of these things I do for myself. I validate myself. I check myself. I remind myself what I got going on. I remind myself my interests, and then I manifest that by living that. You know what I mean? By not just declaring it, by living it. It's where these lines are getting crossed. Like it's what I consider the difference between smart and intelligent. Like smart is just having the information. Intelligent is being able to apply it to your life. I can look at your life and tell you no. And then the person on the corner that got to preach about it every day, it don't seem like you know. It seems like you trying to convince yourself of this information. It's all an internal battle. And you know what I mean? I had to grow up and realize I've never had an issue with somebody in my life. Like
yeah,
my relationship with everybody is nothing more than a reflection of my relationship with myself. So if I don't respect myself, I'm not going to respect you right now. You know what I
and
mean? If
that's
I take from
facts.
myself, I'm going to take from you. You know what I mean? Like, so now that we're trying to get better, it's this demand for everyone else to get better. Like, our healing does not affect everyone else's healing. Me deciding to take this new path is not going to put them with me. So I both got to detach from where I was and also realize I might be alone for the next 8 months. I chose to go live in the woods. I might be alone for the next 8 months before another person is like, shit, I want to live in the woods too. You know what I mean? Like, and we gotta stay that path. But
Yeah,
everything is so much information is being put on social media. People don't know what to believe. They don't know which path to take. So now they're either frozen trying to make a decision or they're going down all the wrong paths. Like I had to stop arguing with motherfuckers online. You know, just because people don't know you. You know, what
yeah,
you said, I experienced all through my life with women. In my 20s, I could be asking a woman the time, like, oh no, I got a boyfriend. Like, excuse me? Like, this wasn't that. Says, I think I'm late. I really need the time. Like, no, seriously, I got a boyfriend. Like, all right, I'm just about to stop talking to you. Like, this was a very strange interaction. I just want to talk like people. Every nigga's not
yeah.
trying to get your draws, and every woman's not trying to get your bank account either, man. Like,
Bro, we grew up. If you seen the chick you like, you had to either one approach her or somebody was gonna go tell her. But at some point, y'all had to have a direct conversation and exchange numbers for
yeah,
anything to even transpire. Like a lot of us, we come from that, and it's just so crazy. You know, go back to what you said earlier. You know, a lot of people's opinions, uh, they they generalize they generalize a whole group of people based off specific experience. You
right.
know, every nigga ain't like your baby dad or like your ex or whatever. And you know what I'm saying? And every man, I mean every woman ain't like your baby mama or your ex girlfriend or your ex wife or whatever. You know what I mean? People gotta realize accountability
Mm-hmm.
would say, well, okay, you know, I've been through a lot of relationships and had breakups, but I've never felt compelled to put that energy in the atmosphere to dog them. Number
Right.
one, two, put any other woman in a box based off of them. It's just it didn't work. It is what it is. You know, I gave my all, and at some point it just wasn't enough.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that's just that. But people put a lot of their personal experience out on other people. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? And it's almost like we're supposed to be the comforter for their egos for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
More than trying to, you're trying to be a companion, you're trying to be a partner. You know what I mean? But at the same time, you're not even realizing this motherfucker need a pillow for their scars. They need a
Exactly.
bandage for their scars. I just seen, not to cut you short, I just seen a post the other day and it really blew my mind. I had to share it. Usually I don't like to do shit to engage too much head-on-head wars or point something out. But I'm like, women, is this the shit y'all really putting out there? And it said a man was considered zesty or gay if he owned a cat. And I said, is this where we're at?
Yeah.
I gotta base my manhood off the pet that I own. How the fuck did we get here? I seen one this morning I shared, and the lady was like, if your man sleep on the stomach, leave him. I said, so I'm gonna be lonely because of how I sleep. Cause y'all buying, y'all feeding into this. And then when we argue, then it's like, oh, men are insensitive. We're controlling over, but y'all want us to be leaders.
Right.
And I'm not and I'm not just man advocating. I don't want no woman coming for my neck. But I'm just speaking from the experience of how crazy the division is, and the little, excuse my language, dumb shit that we allow to just grow us apart.
Yeah.
Like, are we really talking about my manhood because I own a fucking cat? Look, I hate cats, but I got all respect for men that have cats. You know, I feel like it displays a lot of courage, a lot of patience, because cats are feisty and they really
Oh,
random.
man. Yeah. My cat
I
ran
don't
away.
like them.
Never got another one.
Cats are too the upper echelon in their mind.
Oh,
The
yeah.
cats is like, I should have been a lion.
They're royalty.
Yeah, they like, I should have been a lion.
This motherfucker. They don't even
You
let
know
me
what I
out.
mean? But I don't know, man.
Yeah, I think that's the mask. That's the mask of people who still live within the programming, because we all were subjected to the programming. You gotta be walking by 1, you gotta do this by 3, this by 5, this by 18, married by 21, successful by 22. And a lot of people still live in that. I even see it through how they post. A lot of people still post food like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make this for my man. Since you've been single for 39 years, it's time to hang it up. It's time to get you that cat. It's time to hang it up. Like it don't work like this. You know what I mean? Like, you can pray for everything you want, but you can't have prayer without the works. Like, you gotta actually put the work in. That's why I like to attract. If I want somebody athletic, I'm gonna go to the gym more. If I want to eat better in my relationship, I'm gonna find people who are already eating better like that. Those are the laws of attraction. You're actually making sure these things are put in your life. You want to help with your kids, you're finding someone trustworthy with children. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you can't just ask for something and then expect to get it, because then it's gonna be some Rumpelstiltskin shit. You ain't gonna know what you get. You gonna get something, but it ain't gonna be how you thought it was gonna be. You dig? So then that taught me, stop asking for so much shit. Like, why we even asking for so much? A lot of stuff we can just give to ourselves. You know what I mean? But it's easy. We've been taught to wait, or they've been taught to wait on Prince Charming. We've been taught to wait for the right woman and go have your fun. You know what I mean? And it was all working against us. It was all tearing the family apart, because then a lot of us were just becoming bachelors. People didn't even want families no more. They wanted the marriage, they wanted the glitz and the glam, but they didn't want the family. And the family is, we all responsible for each other. We all helping each other develop. You know what I mean? If you're just taken out of this situation, it's gonna fall apart. So social media, like, I even hate when people blame social media for what's happening. Social media is just exposing how people already are. People were
Yeah,
just able to
it's
hide offline for so long, and now it's a camera everywhere. Like,
man,
everywhere.
everything is for viral content. That's what I'm saying. It started off with just keeping in touch, and then people got hit to them likes, and then them likes start growing popularity. Popularity started getting money, and I'm gonna tell you now, with the reels and the stories, man. I mean, I hate to say, you talk about selling your soul, bro. I ain't even about to go into it. But they had the trend, view my story.
Yeah,
Oh my fucking
yeah,
God.
yeah. They
It's
was
like,
going out.
is this all I gotta do to get a glimpse? Because more times than not, men follow fine women. They just want to get a peek. They just want to see in
They want something to
totality.
like. They want to
They
hit
want,
the like
yeah.
button. They want to lust after something.
And the finish is that I just want to see what it looked like. But shit,
Yeah.
if all I gotta do is view your story and you doing this every day, and then next thing I know, you talking about the Cash App hustle. Like, come on, man, you can't try to reel me in with the twerk for you know what I mean for a scheme. Like, what is we doing? What the fuck, bro?
Scamming on a different level, man.
It's
Scammers.
bro, it's scary, but and they doing it for viral notoriety, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, bro. It's everything is a business now. Relationships are even a business.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It's about advantages and like relationships. I got to the point that both parties are sleeping with one eye open.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That's I want to get back to where you could just you know what I mean, embrace each other, lay down, go to sleep, come here. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Lay on me and feel this energy. You know what I mean? But
But you
bro,
explained it. It's all about control, and you can control
it's
a
such a
business. You can control an
such a
employee.
fight,
So
man.
they trying to, but that's why I think relate the absence. You know what came about the absence of love in relationship. It was the control. It's the obligation. I don't even view relationships like that. I don't feel like you should have to be a hostage. Like with me, there ain't no front door in this bitch. Like we can be 10 years day, you know what I mean, 10 years one day in and you want to leave. Like it's gonna sting a little bit, but I understand. You ain't no hostage. Like I'm not about to keep you because there should be no obligation. Like all of this should be where we want to be. But we've gotten so wrapped up and we got so much anxiety of where we feel we should be or where our mom said we should be, or where our kids think we should be, or where our friends think we should be. And it's like, where do you want to be? You know what I mean? Like, make that shit happen. Because as we start to get more happier people in the world, we're gonna get these changes. But with all these miserable people walking around, we just gonna keep hurting each other. It's gonna stay like it is.
Man, they got a whole formula for what a man's supposed to look like now. It's like a 2K creator man. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Like if if you ain't got all five of these things, you're not valid. It's like, wait a minute, that I'm confused. I mean, because I've been on I've played both roles. I played the full time house dad. You know what I mean? Washing, folding, bathing, laundering, cooking, cleaning. I did all that because the position I was in, she was in a better one. I'm like, well, I'm gonna hold this down so you can just go out there, do your hours, come home, don't worry about nothing. I did that, and then I was also the guy that was like, okay, if I don't get it, we ain't got it, and we need to have it. You know what I
Right.
mean? And so I'm like, what? To me, it was just a man being a man, just rising to the occasion and doing the necessary. You know what I mean? But where do we come to the point of you telling me if I don't fit in this box under these five things, I'm not a valid option? Like, bro, the whole world is single.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's
Basically.
just it's just crazy to me. And I just like I said, growing up in the era and the times that I did, I just want to go get back to that. I seen that. I remember when dudes had middle school loves. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Every period they was meeting each other for a little kiss or exchanging notes. They sat on the bus, they rode together, and they did that every day. Some took it all the way to marriage. You know what I mean? Some all the way through school. But it was a good thing.
It was
You know what I mean?
pure.
Love was harmless. Now shit, love is a weapon. It hurt.
Yeah.
It's what they say it hurt.
Straight
It
up.
hurt, man. Shit.
That's a fact. But yeah, needing each other is where we're gonna get back to that base. You know, and that's what the government wanted. They wanted us to not have to depend on each other no more, and depend on them, and depend on what resources they can give. So we lost so many words. We lost the word passion. You know what I mean? We lost so many words in this exchange. I feel like in the past 30, 40 years. And that's why I say I think we're that golden age, that golden generation. We got to bring that back because we still remember that. Like you said, we grew up in that. We grew up in that Love Jones, that puppy dog love. You dig? And I think the healthy relationships keep that energy. You
Yeah.
feel me? But it is draining to not be around the thing that you're trying to put in the world. You know, it starts to drain you. You amongst bad company. So as we advance, as we grow, we also got to connect. You know, too many times we do get healed and we do get money and go dip and leave everybody behind. You feel me? And that's happened to us. So people are starting to get hesitant to want to lift others up. You feel me? But much rather be eating and making money with the family than with the enemies, man. Like
Yeah. All day long.
straight up.
And I rather my enemy not be my partner. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Because I shouldn't feel like I'm on the turf of war. You know what I mean? When I'm trying to be in the mood for love, like that's crazy. Even if you're trying to get to know somebody, like I said, I haven't seen a lot of guys. So females listening, please don't think I'm just targeting y'all, but I'm speaking from a man's perspective and the
yeah,
man's experience. But they be quick to dog a nigga. You know what I'm saying? As soon as he say some unfavorable shit. Let's say the first couple messages he real nice, and then boom, he like, no, you trying to come over? She screenshotting and putting it out. See, niggas is thirsty. I would never. He thought he had one. Ha ha. Not. And it's like, I just maybe just wanted to cook some dinner and chill instead of just going to a bar.
right.
But do I deserve to be put on blast? You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Yeah. And what type of
Cut
people
your,
are y'all rocking with? And the
man.
only thing I wonder in my head is what did I give off that made you think I was on track? Like was it something I said? Is it something I post? Or is just what you experience? And every man is like we said, every man is not your dad, your brother, your ex. Like we are not what you've experienced. I'm a whole different opportunity. So that's where we get ourselves in trouble as people. Either we take advantage of that opportunity or we keep digging a deeper grave. Like the biggest message I get to people this day and age, like you got to stop getting in your own way. You got to stop blocking your blessings. And if that's forgetting everything you learned, that's step one. You know what I mean? But we got too many beliefs and ideologies that keep us stagnant. They're not progressive thinking.
Yeah, man. Definitely not, man. We gotta work on this, man. People, we need each other. Men need women as much as women need men. There's no way to balance that. Y'all got y'all strengths and we got our weaknesses, and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
There it is. Let's set the table from there, and let's add some side dishes and make and have this unity feast, man. Because it's killing us, man. It's killing us. Real talk.
That's a fact. So now,
I ain't never felt like I didn't need a woman in my life. Now
yeah,
I did acquire some skills, to make sure, like cooking. A
right.
woman ain't never gonna be able to starve me by saying, "Well, I'm not cooking tonight. I don't know what you're gonna do." I'm gonna go in there and get it in.
Stove already preheating.
Yeah, yeah, you feel me?
Say that.
I'd have been throwing this shit all day, baby. And
Right.
I'm gonna eat comfortably. I ain't gonna eat no slop.
Right.
You know what I mean? But
And I'm
that's just
still gonna feed
that's
you.
just,
And
I
I'm
didn't
still gonna
do.
make you a plate.
Yeah, and you want some? Because I know you do. But
Yeah.
I didn't do that to rival a woman. I did that to for self care. You know what I mean? To be able as an individual man to be able to provide for myself. But I ain't never been in a situation where it's just like, nah, I don't need you to cook. I'm a cook. I don't need no one. I love
Right.
that. Babe. Go in there and get in the kitchen if that's what you feel like
Do your
doing.
thing.
Shit, now I get a little competitive. I might be like, shit, I got you this time because I want her to know, man, I can deliver the goods.
Yeah,
I'm
but
I'm
I
good.
think so too. That's that understanding nature. This is usually my plight because I feel the same way. I love the black woman. I don't think there's many things better than on this earth, if anything. You know what I mean? So it comes to a point where, as men, a lot of times we're just trying to understand. Like we got to look at history. Men were not used to being in the house, so when men started being in the house more, we have to learn the functions of being in the house. I'm not trying to take your jobs. I'm not trying to one up you. I'm trying to understand more of what you do. So now some nights I'm going to tell you I'm cooking just because I know you always got to cook. That's what you always
Yeah,
do. I don't want you to have the pressure and the stress. I'm giving you an option. Or that's when a man's like, yo, you want to just get takeout. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just trying to give options. I'm not trying to demean what you do. I'm not trying to take what you do. I'm trying to make your life easier. I feel like as a man, is to make your life easier.
yeah, I agree. A billion percent, I agree. I'm here to make things easier on you, but please do not mistake that as a weakness
Yeah.
or some sort of red flag. You
Yeah,
know
or
what I'm
like we a
saying?
simp or something. It's simp
Yeah,
culture going around. This ain't
like
that.
don't do that because then it got to get different. Then I'm starting to feel walked over and disrespected. And when I start to feeling like that, you know what I mean? It's big against whoever. And
Damn.
that's not a good place to be. Not in love, not, you know what I'm saying? Not when you're trying to build a
Yeah.
bond,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like that. Like, there's no war in love. There's no love in war. It shouldn't be. You know what I mean? So, you know, I just carry that. That's how I live it. That's how I grew up seeing it. You know, my mom, she had a relationship on the way up until he passed away, God rest his soul. They was never married. Never married. He had his own house. He was very independent, to the point that if things got a little too thick with her and him, he'd be like, man, I'm just going to my own and just relax and get away from this shit because I don't have to deal with it. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? But they was locked in for life. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They supported each other. You know what I mean? And it was great. I witnessed that my whole life. You
That's
know,
beautiful.
and so my two uncles, they were married. They were married, I think, either right before or right after I was born in '82.
Okay.
Right. So, and they're still married to this day. My aunt was married to my uncle to his death. God rest his soul. But I've, dedication is all I know. You know what I mean? And loving your woman, I mean, it shouldn't come with a second thought.
Right.
You know what I mean? And loving your man shouldn't either. You know,
That's powerful.
sometimes love don't work, but that don't mean it gotta hurt.
Right.
You know, so I
Damn,
think
that's
the sooner we get back to that, things will be better. Because everybody want to love somebody. A lot of this energy is single energy saying I want somebody, but this is where I'm at with it right now. Everybody wants somebody. Everybody needs somebody. And
mm-hmm.
they can argue with me if they want to. Everybody fucking needs somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So the
We're
sooner we
social
get back to
creatures.
that, you know, I think a lot more calmer a lot of this BS would be. Because
I
shit, you a
agree.
man, before you get into a relationship, you might do everything from A to Z with your guys.
Right.
Then you get booed up, as they call it. You get booed up. You know what I mean? Now you wanna chill with the windows up with your socks off with the breeze blowing. Like, nah, bro, I ain't going to
Exactly.
hoop today. I don't feel like I want to be here where I'm at. You know what I'm saying?
And I think that's the hardest. That's the hardest part that makes it to stay when things ain't right. Cause I know I was perfectly at peace over here. You know what I mean? And in my 20s and younger, most of my relationships, and I hear a lot of men say this, it felt like a lose lose situation. Like no matter what I said or did, there was an issue or there was a problem or you know what I mean? There's a disconnect. And I look at life through duality. Like, so if you're not choosing connection with me, you choosing disconnection. There is no middle. There is no third option. Either we gonna come together or you're showing me we need distance. You know what I mean? So the worst thing you can do is make a person choose. You know what I mean, or get them used to living without you. That's why I always make sure I try to make amends, even if I feel like I wasn't in the wrong. I'm trying to at least have this conversation. It's not for closure. To me, it's a sign of respect, and we don't do enough things in honor and respect no more. We do them out of fear. You know what I mean? So we got to get back to loving ourselves. That's the first step. And self care ain't just smoking blunts and getting your hair done. Like it's so much deeper than that. It's how you
And
allow
taking
people to talk to you.
trips.
Yeah, like and crab legs and shit. Like it's so much more than that. Like it's how you talk to yourself. It's how you talk to other people. It's what you watch. It's what you entertain. It's the conversations you hold. You know what I mean? Like is you taking from the world or is you putting back into it? And these is all things we know. You know, we may get afraid to ask ourselves these things and confront ourselves in these ways, but we know what we're doing. We know what's going on. Like, and the more mature we get, it's time to be adults. Because if adults ain't being adults, then the kids got to be adults. You dig what I'm saying? Like, we got to switch
Yeah.
roads. And that's what's been happening. That's what happened with our generation with a lot of people. We had to grow up fast. You know what I mean? We seen a lot. And it's paying off for us now, but we still overstand. There's a lot of things I went through I don't want my kids to have to go through. It's a lot of hard lessons I had to learn that I want them to get the game and I want them to learn through experience still, but not all these life threatening situations or potential jail situations or potentially you spending all your money. You know what I mean? You just spent the bill money. These is things we can skip through. We got to get through survival though, man. We still living in survival trying to thrive. It's not going to happen. We got to start living in abundance. You know what I mean? So and that's going to take steps. We may not be the ones to see it. That's humility. We may just be doing it for our kids. And if that's the only reason, that's good enough reason for me. I'm still gonna go hard. You know what I mean? I don't have to end up rich. I don't have to have people buying my books and liking my poetry and liking my art. I feel good because I know I put it out. I feel good because I don't hold on to it no more. You know what I mean? I release these things to release them. They not mine. This art is for the world. That situation I overcame is for the next person when they find themselves at that doorstep. It's not for me no more. So now the journey is finding that next thing. And we do that better when we're not trying to step on each other's toes. Everybody's not gonna be in the same industry. We all not bakers, we all not rappers. You know what I mean? Like we gotta figure out what's good for us and then things will fall in place. But as long as we greedy and we jealous and we envious of each other, we're gonna live in chaos.
Pass the collection plates, my brother. The doors are now open.
Man, they got so much game off of this, and rightfully so. You know what I mean? Rest up to OG Uncle Kev, but he is they shoot down the messengers. That's what make me kind of eerie sometimes when I want to get online and think I'm helping people or educating them because they gonna get them pitchforks. They gonna turn on your ass when you start to touch home with them. You dig? Because
Yeah,
people love it when you real. They just don't like it when you real with them.
yeah, man. Mm, it's wild, man. You know, and you know, it's just a different time, man. You know,
Yeah.
and we're all adjusting. I mean, shit. I graduated in 2000, right when the internet dropped. You know what I mean?
Okay.
My 101 class in college was Microsoft.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But you know, we just living in this time, man. It's different. A lot of people are just struggling to adjust.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, you know, the conversation is it's out loud now. And now that it's
Mm-hmm.
out loud, so much to filter through. Like you said, people don't want to be. They don't want you to be real with them. They want to be as real as they want it to be perceived. You know,
Yeah. Yeah, they want to not like you too for what they think you're doing. And that's
and
what
I
kicks
get it.
into my self care. And my self care is protecting my peace. I will protect my peace with my last breath. I do that better than anything else I do in this world. You know what I mean? Because so much of my energy has to go into what I do. Like you said, I didn't give myself a choice at one point in my life. I said, I'm going to be great. So that comes with a lot of steps. And I need every ounce of energy. So that's when I started to do my work and realize I needed to heal. I'm jumping in all these relationships and it's the same relationship. It's the same issue and you're trying to fix it with all these different people. You got to fix it with you. You got to address you before you've ever addressed the world. You know what I mean? And you got to be
Yeah.
secure with addressing you. You got to know who you are. And with the internet, it's hard to know who you are. You got 10 different outfits you could wear, and none of them are real. So you're not really growing. I tell people it's you treadmilling. You know what I mean? You get in motion, but you're not really going nowhere. Like you can run as hard as you can on the treadmill. That motherfucker ain't gonna lift up off the ground. You
That's
still gonna
facts.
be stagnant. You know what I mean? So the idea is not to move. The idea is to be efficient. So when you start making the best moves, you realize you don't even need much movement. You know what I mean? And these are the things I had to learn through healing. And you heal alone. People trying to heal in groups. People getting in relationships to heal. They trying to get more money to heal. You heal alone with yourself. Go into nature. No technology, no people, just you. You know what I mean? Talk to yourself, listen to yourself. It's gonna change the world. Like, but we have to do that first. I used to be like that in my 20s. Like, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get successful, then I'm gonna do everything else. Then I'm gonna fix this and fix that. Like, nah, you gotta check this first. You gotta check you first before any of that is even gonna want to come to you.
And you got to understand the process. You know what I'm saying? Because temptation is a motherfucker. It'll take you off course at any given time. But
Mm-hmm.
back to something originally that you were talking about, which is discipline. You
Mm-hmm.
know, if you enforce that discipline on yourself to not have that urge to break out of your mold when you're not ready, you know what I mean? And just be patient. Just work on that shit. You know the end goal, know what you're aiming for. And once you get up in that realm, then maybe you can open up a little more. But You know, people just gotta have, it comes down to confidence. I feel like I feel like if we turned on social media twice a week, shit would be different.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not here to make no call to order. I'm nobody to do that.
Right. Right.
Ideally, I think if I mean, I do it sometimes, just intentionally. I just won't even check nothing. I might watch a couple of TikTok videos because them just be funny, and
Right.
I really enjoy the creativity people are coming up with. People are becoming mini movie makers
Yes.
now. You know what I
Yes.
mean? They got scripts, they got they acting, they displaying their skill, and they doing their thing. But as far as like anything with like public opinion is like the premise like Facebook or Instagram, I'll just not check in to it for a day or two, and then when I do check in, it's like, man, you know what? I ain't missing nothing.
Right.
But I've built my page to 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 have people of of a variety, but people that I enjoy engaging with. It might be some people with some reckless you know outlooks on things. There might be some people with some more polished, or more poised type of appeal. But I like to combine all that in one world. You know,
Hmm.
but
Man, I feel like you just brought it full circle because I feel like that should explain to people now, and we'll put it in layman's terms, the difference between a hustle, a side business, and a business. So a business can run without you being there. You can take time off from your business because it's structured. A side hustle and a side business is they need you. You have to be the one working it to make the money. You have to actually show up for work that day. So sometimes a side hustle is good for a person and their job. But if you want that, like for me, I don't care about money. I like freedom of time. So I want businesses because I want to be making money while I'm on the beach. You dig? While I'm over here checking some new artist or meeting some new author. Like I still want to be doing what I'm doing and having this over here making money. So social media can be a great tool if we learn how to use it, but we got to use it intentionally. I mean, you hit the nail on the head, man. So if we do want that time away, like people got to start getting them LLCs, start looking into a business. So you can have your business still running and you don't have to be on here 24/7 because that stuff is draining. Even when I love it, even when I'm making money, I'm drained.
and people kill me with the bullshit rebuttal of this is social media, it's freedom of speech. I can post what I want, I can post what I like. It don't have. It's just my opinion. I'm here having fun. Like you here having fun until you get called out. You know what I mean? You
Exactly.
until you call to duty. So cut the shit. You're doing this shit for
Yeah.
attention,
Thank
and
you.
eventually the shit gets old. You know, so be responsible with the shit that you put out because I mean it's perfectly fine for somebody to go outside and and drop all their clothes in front of the police station. That don't mean it's an okay thing to do.
Right.
I mean, but you can say freedom of expression, however you want to, box it in. But people just they got to be more responsible with the shit they put out. And again,
I
I'm not
agree.
here to preach or judge or tell nobody what to do. It's just my observation. A lot of people
Yeah.
be on some real live bullshit.
Yeah.
You know,
We
uh,
giving the medicine, man, but just because we get the medicine don't mean the sick person gonna take it. And
that's
that's the
true.
reality. The sad reality because again I'm an empath too. That shit hurts me when I see I love black love. I always shout out black love when I see it. When I see people fighting amongst each other, like that shit hurts. Like we all are just oblivious. I know we don't speak on every incident, but some of these things I go home and hug my kids like damn, like people are really hating each other for nothing, for misunderstandings, you know what I mean? So I always try to keep the faith things are gonna get better. And I do that by putting that love into the world. Same as
And
what you
it's
speak on.
and it's always us more than anybody. Maybe that's just what I see, but I see a fucking lot of it
Yeah, me
because
too. Too much.
we going viral. You know what I'm saying? We headlining the opinions. You know what I mean? We are fucking leading the chant of get rid of him or whatever the goal of the narrative is. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
us alive. We gotta understand. They sell that shit to us. Cause I saw another post this morning, and it was kind of light, but it was very interesting. You got LeBron versus Jordan, one of the most ongoing sports debates ever. I'm
Right.
not about to get into the details. Don't even worry about it. Cause no matter who I say, it's going to be a long going argument. All right, but the comparison has been so. You got people talking bad about Bron. Now everybody is discrediting Mike. He didn't play nobody, disrespecting his whole entire legacy. And then I seen a post this morning, and somebody said, "You ever seen white people compare Larry Bird to Havlicek?"
Never.
And I'm like, "That's good. They don't do it.
Nope. In no sport.
In no sport, in no realm
Yeah.
is it common. Now, generally speaking, they probably got something that mix in with the crowd and have their opinions. You got some podcasters that feel a certain way about certain things, but in general, they're
It's
not
not a
comparing.
public debate.
Yeah, public debate, but they're not comparing their own to degrade one and raise up another one.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? We gotta tune into that, man. Cause
Yeah.
shit, I ain't gonna front. I hate the LeBron Jordan debate just because I know I'm gonna have to talk some bad shit about the person who I didn't choose
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
prove my point. Don't make me do it. I mean, I'm equipped with information, but I'm just saying I don't want to point that out. I just want to say, look, both of these dudes is great. You know what I'm saying? LeBron is now, Jordan was then, and let's just go the fuck on. But
Yeah.
nah,
But
man.
that's the African American origin story. Someone told you couldn't until you did it. So they think they're helping people by telling you what you can't do. And it's like, nah, we gotta educate ourselves. There's still backlash that come with that. And hell, now I'm mad because of exclusion. How Kobe get knocked out of it? Like, so it's always gonna be someone upset when we have these type of comparative debates. And a lot of times when we're talking the best, people are arguing their favorite. These are two different conversations. I didn't ask your favorite. We talking about the
See,
best.
see, I had the knob on a 2 on the stove. You just turned it to a 6. You just turned it to a 6. Yeah, because it really bothers me how Kobe can just get so dismissed.
It's crazy.
The nerve.
And he
Now,
actually passed away. Usually they get love when you die. Why they doing my man's like this?
why is they doing it? They weren't doing this when Kobe was here. They was they
Not at
was they
all.
was Mamba mentality.
But it's
Cause
that ratings. You hit that nail on the head in the beginning. It's clickbait. They need
cause
to
couldn't
talk about
nobody
what's
fuck
happening
with
right now.
Kobe. Couldn't nobody fuck with Kobe for real. Hands down, player for player. I'm talking system players, and I'm talking individually athletic players. Kobe had it for whatever you wanted to do, and he delivered that. He delivered that. And I think the only knock, which is a contradictive statement
Mm-hmm.
in its own, but they say Kobe can't be top 3 because he was too much like Mike. But y'all got Mike number 2 or number 3. So we gotta. What is y'all saying?
None of it makes sense. None of
It
it makes
don't
sense.
make sense.
I look at the response. I never seen a player get so much praise from other players and coaches than Kobe has. Still to this
And
day, other players is like he's the toughest I ever had to guard. He was. I would take him for like the people who actually played with them are saying these things. That's how I know y'all getting favoritism. Your first pair of shoes with some J's or some bronze. I get that. That's fun. But we talk about the actual game, the numbers, the eye test. They don't want to talk about that, man. That. I had to stop having basketball debates like 10 years ago because it was really getting me salty at niggas. Like niggas I grew up with. I know your grandmother. Like I shouldn't be this mad at you. Like why you got like over this? Like you know what? Let me just so I can keep my friendships. Let me just stop talking about this kind of stuff.
yep, because that's how it get go. Because then they start calling you names.
Yeah.
I just seen dudes call Bron fans Bron sexuals. I'm like, God damn. Cause I ain't gonna
It's
front.
real.
I get in it. I get in. When I feel like it gets out of hand, it's like, hold on, wait a goddamn minute now. Let's not do this now. Maybe I'm gonna go ahead and just open this can of worms. Boom, it's out the bag. Whatever. I'm stuck and spoiled in my ways, and I'm realizing I'm just spoiled in the time that I've witnessed.
Yeah.
That to me, I'm always gonna hold Jordan above anybody
Yeah.
because the greatness everybody talk about, I actually witnessed that shit in real time. Watching that game in the living room. I mean, eating dinner after practice, not knowing what to expect, and he do some amazing shit. I seen it. And I seen what he took and made it do with it. So I can't never detach from that when it comes
Yeah.
to the argument with Jordan versus Bron. Listen, Bron's argument, they have a very valid argument. But I'm stuck in my time, and I feel like this era is an era that's stuck on stats.
Yeah.
Like I've never heard so many greatest of all times just
Oh my
because
God.
you hit a lot of threes or because you hit a three every game for 100 games, whatever the record is. Now every time they break a record, it's the greatest of all time. It's all about stats. But
Yeah.
this era is way more athletic, but the game's supposed to evolve.
But it's overinflated. Like you hit the nail on the head. And there's all these fake stats. The first 7-foot player with left hands and like size 12 shoe to score 10 points. Like that's not a real stat. Like stop keeping track of this kind of shit.
Like, can I apply for that job? How many statisticians
Like,
do y'all have? Y'all gotta have at least 25, 30 statisticians that's sitting there like you document how many times he hit a right elbow shot. You like, come on.
hey,
So
them little kids that clean the floors at the NBA games, they make like 60 to 70K a year, bro.
hey,
Ain't that
they're gonna
crazy?
be they're gonna
The
be in the
water
NBA
people and the
next.
towel people, they making 70 bands.
Look at Giannis. I just learned in Giannis' story that his father was a NBA player, ex NBA. He used to bring him to the games and all of that. He was a towel boy. He became a ball boy. He started meeting NBA players and working with them. And look who he is now. And you know what's so crazy about that? Guess where I learned that from?
Where?
Fucking playing NBA 2K23. Man, I'm in my career mode. We had to play the Bucks, and they got the commentators talking, and I was like, yo, that's a wild story.
You got to pause the game. Like, hold on.
I said, damn, this nigga was a towel boy.
What you looking at?
And you can't stop that fucking man on the game. I can't stand how they got Giannis like he Jordan, Shaq, Skip the Malou.
Yeah, they always got that player though, man. Mine like that used to be Dwight Howard. He was OP on the game, bro. You wasn't
Say what?
stopping
Say what
Dwight.
about Dwight Howard?
I said they always got that overpowered player on the game that they got playing unstoppable. Like when
Oh
Dwight
yeah,
played for the Magic on 2K, bro, you couldn't stop him. He could do everything: rebound, dunk, block, steal. I'm like,
yeah,
bro.
yeah. You right. And now since we're talking about 2K, I want to say this out loud because I just had a conversation with my guy on some phone to phone shit about this ongoing LeBron and Jordan debate. It's levels to this, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And ain't no shade. I love LeBron. He's earned his keeps. He's earned the argument. He's earned that spot. I solely feel like he fucked it up when he went to Miami and promised 7, 8 rings and didn't deliver.
Yeah.
That's just my basketball fans, opinion. When he said that, I said, God damn, bro. And then when he said, I'm the greatest of all time or the best in it, I'm like, bro, let them say that. You killing me. Anyway, I'm playing 2K. And they have it's called a Jordan Challenge.
Yeah.
And the Jordan Challenge is you play every pivotal game in his career from winning the championship in North Carolina to play. I didn't even know his first rookie year. He played on Team USA against the 80s All-Stars with Kevin McHale, Bird, Isaiah. You know what I mean? And he had like a 40 piece. He balled out.
Oh, he was fucking him up.
But you had to play every game. You got to play the Cavs game to hit the game winning shot. The 63-point game, 63-9 game. And I'm sitting and I'm like, you know what? LeBron ain't gonna get this shit.
Hell no.
Look, maybe they gonna make some kind of storybook game feature for him later, but Jordan is on a different level, man.
Yeah.
His greatness is top tier, man. People gotta put some respect on the OG, man. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I ain't saying nothing to shade Bron or this era, but y'all gotta put some respect on the OG, man.
I like Bron as a person. I've never been caught up in all the hype as a player. He's really great. You know what I mean? I don't deny his greatness, but the best, it's so many factors, man. And I don't feel like you can be the best without killer mentality. Like, you got to have that dog in you. People have to be afraid to play against you. How
Yeah,
people was
nobody's
afraid
afraid
to
to play
go
Bron.
toe to toe with Mike Tyson. That's how it got to be. That's the best to me. You know what I mean? At that time. So I don't see it. I think he's a really good teammate. He's a really good guy. He's friendly. But I like my players a little savage, man. I want them cussing out the coach and going out there drop 50. They doing their own thing. You dig?
Now look, pay attention because it may or may not happen. I say may or may not because I'm still pushing for Golden State a little bit.
Okay.
I'm not anti-Bron, but I'm definitely pro championship team, and they showed me last year they can come back from almost anything, and that's how they won it. But let's just say, in light that they lose the Western semi-conference finals, I'm sorry, the Western Conference finals will be another Bron versus KD matchup. I'm ready for it because I'm a KD advocate.
Me too.
You know, as you said, I like a player. I like a stone cold killer on the court.
Yeah.
Growing up, that's the pool I was thrown into. Those were the guys I grew up around. You know what I'm saying? We was it was pit bulls on pit bulls. It wasn't no poodles.
Right.
You know what I mean? And when it came game time, when it came to it, you had to be that guy. And I love seeing the way KD can be that guy whenever it comes down to it. I don't care what nobody say about him joining teams. He was traded to. He was brought in. He ain't jumped on no bandwagons.
And they got two. Cause he ain't never had a player like Devin Booker. Ever.
Nope.
Devin Booker is the closest thing to Kobe to me.
Devin Booker
DeRozan's game. It's a lot of guys that worked with Kobe. Devin Booker's he's a killer.
Playing with Durant, Kevin Booker is like Russell Wilson with a higher shooting percentage.
Yeah.
Because Russ had that potency, and he was putting it up in OKC, but the motherfucker was laying
too much,
bricks.
man. Too much.
It's
the
like,
same
bro,
thing that happened in
KD
OKC.
the ball.
The same thing that happened in OKC was what was happening in Miami between who's going to take the last shot, Wade or Bron. And Westbrook wanted to be that guy. Like, I felt like he felt slighted when KD won MVP. Like, KD was the best player in the world. I was already telling people that, okay,
Yeah.
he's the best player in the world. Bro, he can dribble, he can shoot, he can defend. There's nothing he can't do on the court. Nothing.
Yeah.
And he's going to get it going. Man.
They said to me this next round, and I'll tell everybody, I don't want to hear no excuses. Don't try to usher in Bron's age. I don't want to hear none of that shit. Because the last time they met, KD tore his mouth out.
Yeah.
Twice.
Cleveland.
Tore his mouth out.
He had Tristan Thompson
he had
going to guard.
He had this. I said, I don't want to hear none of that. Bro, all the hype came up to that game, and Bron knew KD was on the other side of that rock. Bro, you're going to either have to make a stop or make him stop you.
Yep.
KD chose A, and you couldn't do it, bro. You ran off and let not JR.
Tristan.
You let
Tristan Thompson was guarding him, bro.
Man, no, he let somebody get fried for that big three. Was it it wasn't Jordan Clarkson. Who was it? It was Rodney Hood. He let Rodney Hood out there to get fried. He could have kept his assignment off the switch off. He ran like, nah, you take it. KD fried
right over top.
So this time, this will probably be the last time that we'll see a playoff with Bron versus Curry or the Warriors, Bron versus KD. This probably gonna be the last time.
Yeah.
So I'm here for it.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm excited for any of the teams that can win. For real.
Bro, it's a toss up this year, and somehow the Lakers they're finding a will to win. I'm gonna be honest. I don't fucking like it.
I
I don't. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I don't. They're not gonna have the same style of game though next round because the Nuggets and the Suns actually have bigs. Golden State don't have a damn center, so the Lakers went and got three centers. You know what I mean? Like I think the Nuggets will get them a problem too. They're a tough matchup for both teams.
Yeah, but you can't just win with just Booker and KD,
No, that's
and
a fact.
with the new roster that um the Lakers have. I don't know because they play a little fearless. Now they might brick a lot of shots, but I like the edge they play with. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And I feel like with Brian being out when they acquired them new pieces, it gave them a couple games to feel their own chemistry, and then just add Brian in. So I mean, if it's gonna come down to just KD and Booker, they're gonna have to have 50 and 50, some
Yeah,
phenomenal games.
yeah,
But it's something about LA the way they play, man. When it comes time to it, somehow shit just works out for them. Now that last Golden State game, 37 free throws and 16 free throws. I want everybody to note that they lost by 27, almost 27 or 30. Shit, they had fucking 21-point advantage on free throws alone. Somehow it works out for them.
yeah.
But when it comes down to it, KD on Bron, I got my popcorn. I don't care about nothing else. I'm a basketball fan.
Same.
I love to see the battle on the court. So KD versus Bron, I don't care about no role players who doing. I want to see the matchup.
Yeah, I agree. How I look at all the teams that's in it now is like a really good session of open gym, and it's like all the teams are good. You can't really have a favorite. It's whoever get hot. It's whoever hitting. You know what I mean? You got a bunch of big shot teams, so I'm excited. I think all fans are winning right now.
My big baby.
So, is there anything you want to lead the people with? We covered a lot.
Come here. Yeah. I uh I like the playoffs this year because it's really no shoe in teams.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? It's just whoever bringing the best game. I'm shocked that James Harden came away the way he has in Philly.
he going
But I
crazy.
always knew he was him. But I'm like, I ain't heard much of him. It's been all about Embiid. You know what I mean? I didn't even factor that. I counted them out. I'm gonna be honest. You know what I mean? But hey, he keep playing the way he playing.
And I think
They
they
gonna
a
be,
tough matchup for the Heat.
they gonna lose to the West. I,
They
I
a tough
don't
matchup for the Heat. Oh, they definitely gonna lose to the West.
I don't see nobody from the East coming out strong enough unless it's Boston. Now people might kill me for that, but unless it's Boston, I don't really see nobody equipped talent wise to match up with nobody in the West that's gonna go to the finals.
I agree.
I just don't. I mean, because Brian's still a fucking big deal.
Yeah,
He's still
you
a
can't
big
just
deal,
count him out. That's true.
and he's a problem on the matchups because he's every fucking way.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So you got AD. If AD just stay healthy, man,
I think he playing hurt, man. He plays like he ain't 100%. That's that internet. They bullies. They done had so many jokes. He can't sit out.
so that's my big baby. He feeling lonely. He alright. Go ahead now, bro.
So now I was gonna say we covered a lot. Is there anything you want to lead the people with?
Um, if you got any business, you're looking for any service, feel free to look me up on Facebook, Open Table. I would just keep it on Facebook more than anything. That's where I'm mostly active. You can always catch me on Instagram, Talk to him 82 TALK the number 2 EM82, and we can talk about whatever you want to do. You know, your vision is my priority, so Let's get together. Let's work. Let's build. I'm authentic and I'm real. I'm gonna give you 1,000,000% from the get go. So you know, hit me when you're ready, cause I'm ready.
That's real. It's been a pleasure, man. This was a great conversation. There's gonna be a lot for people to take from this. I really appreciate it. And congratulations on everything you got going on.
Thank you, sir. And big shout out to Latasha Reigns and with her Because I Can brand. Y'all check that out. Got a lot coming soon. Yeah.
It's up.
Men
All
in
right,
business
bro.
in June. Man, y'all got businesses. Y'all want to get some advertisement. Y'all want to connect with with more people. Check out Latasha Reigns in the Men in Business event coming up in June. It's definitely something worth coming out and taking part in. It's a nice community family event for all of us that's doing business out here.
Yeah, we all gonna be in the building. Make sure y'all come show some love. Thank you, brother. I
Thank you for bringing
appreciate
me
you
on,
again.
bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm gonna get with you real soon. And I definitely want to come get on your show. Bless the stage too.
All right, shout out to the Good Life Kickback. Yeah.
All right, y'all. We out.